One day Soo-yeon returned to her village to see her sick mother. When she got home she just realized that her mobile phone left on the train. Using house phone she tried to contact but to no avail. Instead she got a strange call from a girl who immediately tells about the crazy behavior of her mother who locked her inside the house.
아닌데요, 전화 잘못 거신 것 같은데.
The next day when she had just returned from visiting her mother in the hospital and seeing her father's grave, the phone rang again. And the girl who called yesterday is now asking Soo-yeon to come quickly because her mother wants to kill her. The mysterious girl named an address and to her surprise it was the exact same address as the house where she is now. When night come, while Soo-yeon was fast asleep, suddenly, she curiously looked for where the voice came from. And accidentally she even found a dungeon she never knew before. In the room she found a diary full of scribbles of strange words and a photo of a young girl. Of course it made her even more curious, but when she asked Uncle Song-ho, the man only mentioned that the girl's name in the photo is Young-suk. The rest, Uncle Song-ho seemed to avoid talking. That night the phone rang again, startled her. This time the girl was heard screaming and complaining that her mother wanted to burn her and she asked Soo-yeon to come as soon as possible. This makes Soo-yeon confused. Something told her that the incident happened in this house. When morning came, Young-suk called again. Concluding from the conversation, Soo-yeon suddenly realized that they were actually in the same house but at different times. Soo-yeon in 2020 while Young-suk in 1999. At first Young-suk can't believe it. But when Soo-yeon told her the news from internet that by afternoon there would be an airplane accident and it turns out that the accident really happened, then Young-suk believes it. They then became friends and exchanged stories with each other. Young-suk tells that her mother is actually dead, and the woman who often acted mean to her was none other than her stepmother, while Soo-yeon told Young-suk that her father had also died from a gas stove explosion when she was little. The incident happened on November 27, 1999, which according to Young-suk time was none other than tomorrow morning. Suddenly Young-suk had an idea. She went to little Soo-yeon's house and turned off the gas stove that Soo-yeon's mother forgot to turn it off. And when the gas stove was turned off, a miracle happened. Soo-yeon's old house suddenly turned modern, her hair instantly lengthened, and her long-dead father was alive again. Soo-yeon enjoyed happiness together with her parents again, and Young-suk starts to feel neglected. One time when they were talking on the phone, suddenly Young-suk's stepmother warned Soo-yeon not called her again, then she heard Young-suk screams like being tortured. Curiously, Soo-yeon traced Young-suk's family history through the internet. And she got the information that Young-suk's stepmother had killed her stepdaughter to exorcise the demon that was in her body. She conveyed the information to Young-suk. But as a result, after her stepmother died, Young-suk was like a horse in the wild. The day changed. That afternoon Uncle Song-ho delivered the strawberries to Soo-yeon's house. At another time young Uncle Song-ho is also delivering strawberries to Young-suk's house. He opened the refrigerator to store the fruit, and was very shocked found the mutilated corpse of Young-suk's stepmother in it. The phone rang again, but all that Soo-yeon could heard was the voice of young Uncle Song-ho who was frightened and begging for mercy. Shortly after Soo-yeon felt that something had changed. When she returned to the dining room Uncle Song-ho was gone. Even her father said he did not know who Uncle Song-ho was. She went out and found Uncle Song-ho's strawberry garden was gone. And what was more surprising, when she asked at the police station, the officer said that Uncle Song-ho had long passed away. She called Yong-suk and angrily asked why she killed Uncle Song-ho. "How do you know?" replied the girl. "Internet news tell you are sentenced to life," said Soo-yeon. Instead of regretting it, Yong-suk asked Soo-yeon to find out how the police can find evidence the murder she committed. But Soo-yeon, who was angry, did not answer.
여보세요?
The day went by. Soo-yeon was enjoying a wonderful time by learning to drive a car with her father, but without her knowing, at another time, her little self with his father came to Yong-suk's house to meet her stepmother. And as a result, Yong-suk takes little Soo-yeon as a hostage and will be killed if she doesn't provide information how the police can get evidence of murder within an hour. Soo-yeon was in dire straits situation, but her mind is still working. She tricked Yong-suk to come to a greenhouse saying that the police found evidence there. Soo-yeon knew through from the internet that in the greenhouse it would happen explosion at 5 p.m. She hopes that Yong-suk will die by the explosion. But Soo-yeon's calculation is wrong. Yong-suk is still alive. Coldly she took revenge. She poured boiling water over little Soo-yeon's body. There is no choice, so Yong-suk does not kill little Soo-yeon, which will result in her death. By force, Soo-yeon breaks into the police station to get information, where from the police get evidence that Yong-suk is a murderer. And the evidence turned out to be a dagger found by a scavenger. After Yong-suk destroyed the dagger, the house immediately changed. Suddenly, many refrigerators filled the house, a sign that the victims of Yong-suk's murder were many and stored inside it. Soo-yeon knows that Yong-suk is also in the house, but she doesn't want to leave. Because from the police record she read that her mother also a victim of Yong-suk, and the only way to avoid it is to warn her mother over the phone. She carefully searched for the phone. On the other side, accompanied by a policeman, her mother went to Yong-suk's house to look for her husband and child who didn't come home. They searched the whole house, but they did not find Soo-yeon and her father. Until finally the mother borrowed the phone, and the phone was connected to Soo-yeon.
왠지 내 생일 같아. 전화기 주세요.
Then the mother and daughter were chased by the same person and hid in the same room but at different times. On the phone, Soo-yeon kept trying to calm her mother. She told her to arm herself with what she had in that room. Her mother was already on standby with a fire extinguisher, but the sound of little Soo-yeon's cries caught her off guard. And now this female psychopath left face to face with a helpless weak prey. Soo-yeon gave up, but it turned out her mother has not. Her instincts as a mother must protect her daughter made her get up and keep fighting. Did her mother die? Frantically Soo-yeon ran to the hospital, but her mother's treatment room was already occupied by someone else. Also next to her father's grave there is no mother's grave. Soo-yeon is desperate. She thinks her mother must have been a victim of Yong-suk's mutilation and her corpse dumped somewhere. But her worries turned out to be wrong.